Let's go. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris the Candyman. Follow me on Twitter at FFB Garage. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Today, we're talking ADP trends for best ball. And it's a big day. I'm really excited. I've been waiting for this day pretty much all weekend because it's March 28th, which means we get the update from the best ball ADP data to complete our March month trended data series. This is the 5th week of data we're getting for March. So we go February 28th, a week ahead, we go March 7th, March 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. We've got 5 weeks of ADP data. That's a trend, baby. So here we go. And we're jumping right into it. Scene. Okay. I'm pretty exhausted right now, and I feel like I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so this is going to go great. What are we looking at? We've got the top 24 players in ADP. We're looking at from top left to the bottom. We've got, there it is, March 28th. Starting out with Justin Jefferson, we're going to go through each player and just kind of comment and see what's up. What was their last month's trend, which is after those 5 data points to the far right in the column with the green, yellow, and the red stop sign. So if you got a green, you're moving up. That's good. Tyreek Hill, okay, he's moving up. The wide receivers, they're all moving up. Look across. Anytime you see green, pretty much a wide receiver. Quarterbacks moving down. We've been talking about this. The quarterbacks are going later and later. Don't be caught right now if you're doing drafts. Taking a quarterback early is the takeaway. Garrett Wilson moving up. I think I've come around. I don't know what it took to see it. Maybe it was his rookie season target total. But I think I'm okay with taking Garrett Wilson ahead of every single one of these running backs. And we'll see if that happens in the next month. I think that trend could continue. He moved up 4 spots in ADP in the last month, right? As you move higher up the board, it's harder to get that incremental gain. So there's not much further you can go. Obviously, you look at Justin Jefferson. He's stagnant, right? There's nowhere else to go. But with a guy like Garrett Wilson, he's probably him, or it could be Amon-Ra. Maybe Jalen Waddle, but I don't know why it would be those two over Garrett Wilson, who's obviously going to get a bump when Aaron Rodgers gets traded, which hasn't happened officially yet, officially. So we've got this tier of the second tier of running backs. Garrett Wilson's going to go ahead of those guys. I'm calling it right now. Take Garrett Wilson right where you would take CeeDee Lamb and feel good about it, but you might not have to. I mean, in a slow draft I'm doing, the 10th overall pick, I literally just took CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, first and second round. So that was pretty good. Let's move on to this next group. Okay. So then we've got the next 25 to 48. Breece Hall to Lamar Jackson. The thing that stands out again to me is that the quarterbacks are falling. Joe Burrow falling 9 spots. I just actually didn't take Joe Burrow at the turn at pick 49, and that was probably stupid, but it's a different slow draft I'm doing where I have the first overall pick, and I don't know, I couldn't pull the trigger. I really can't go early on these quarterbacks, so I didn't even take Joe Burrow recently. I mean, and other quarterbacks were falling too, so I didn't feel the pressure to take him. Probably was a dumb move, probably should have taken him there. I ended up going JSN and Christian Kirk on that 48-49 turn when you get the first overall pick. I think it's like 4 or 5. Okay, so the tight ends are also falling. Yeah. And it's really the receivers moving up, except we've got Justin Fields is moving up. Obviously, we know why that's happening, right? All the good news. And again, this is the time period just before the combine until now. So when you're looking at this week-over-week trended data, we can also kind of zoom in on Justin Fields here. Right now, 34 overall. He was getting drafted around 37, 38, 39 overall. But what happened at the combine And then the first week of free agency, DJ Moore gets traded. I was leaning forward there. I had to scoot back on this mic. DJ Moore gets traded. The Bears are making moves. So he jumps that whole, it's like it's like 5 spots in ADP. Overall, he's kind of corrected. So then he was going over 33 overall, 34 overall. Now he's back above 34 overall because even though Justin Fields got the good news a couple weeks ago, that was a couple weeks ago. And this week, quarterbacks are trending down. So not even Justin Fields can swim against the current all that long. So, right, the trend was going down 38 to 33. Boom, he's back up to 34. And that just goes to show you see Lamar Jackson dropping 10 spots and Joe Burrow dropping 9 spots because they didn't get any cool news. Anyways, there's another group of running backs at the top here that I've really focused on early in my best ball drafts, and I always get one of these guys. Whether I'm taking him at the end of the second round or the beginning of the third round, I'm typically going with 1 running back and 2 receivers across my first 3 picks. Just in general, not every time. And I've gotten lucky. I've had some pretty decent draft positions lately where I could actually look ahead and figure that out. And another guy I really like here, DK Metcalf. He's kind of standing alone right now. Back to the running backs. Tony Pollard, I think, and you look here, he's risen 10 spots. We're baking in right now that the Cowboys are drafting a rookie running back on day 2. The beat reporters in Dallas, as far as I've seen, and I see one of their guys post a mock every single day. It's great. I need to start retweeting it more. But he always takes a running back in day 2, sometimes in day 3, but an early pick. The Cowboys have a few picks, I think, in the 3rd and the 4th round. I think they might have 2 picks in each of those rounds. Regardless, they're always drafting a running back like a Roschon Johnson, in that range. And so that's baked into Pollard's price, but I think he can rise even further. Potentially, I think there's an opportunity to take a few of these running backs, maybe Josh Jacobs, but I don't like following up a career best season and then drafting a guy high. Maybe it's ETN. I do like getting some of the Jaguars players. I've been finding myself taking a lot of Christian Kirk. It's hard to get Trevor Lawrence with the stack, though. So anyways, that's some of the trends that we're seeing. Tony Pollard, you can see him right there, 10 points, big riser. Another one down here, DJ Moore, we talked about that. Moving on. These charts, there's a lot to take in. The data we just saw, those were like the raw numbers, the ADP across each week. These are the changes week to week. So we had 5 data points, but now we've got 4 because we're doing what's the difference in between those 5 data points, going to 4 data points. But there's actually a 5th data point, but that's just that total change. And if we flip back, I was showing you the total change all along. Boop. Okay. So 4 data points, and instead of looking at all of these arrows, we can generally see it looks like for the first 24 picks, not a ton of movement, quarterbacks moving down. But instead of looking at all of that, one thing we can do is look at this win-loss key. So if you win, if your ADP is rising, you get a green block on a week. A black block would be your ADP going down, and I think it just doesn't put a block if it's 0 because that's what we see for Justin Jefferson, right? So we see Justin Jefferson, there's not a lot to talk about there, but if we go down to the bottom, obviously as you go down the draft boards, you have the ability to move more, right? There's just more to gain. So Chris Olave, he's had 4 weeks rising. He's another guy. I like taking Chris Olave before all of these quarterbacks in this group. I think Chris Olave can go where Justin Wilson's currently probably going. Do I like Derek Carr that much? Not really. He did support Devontae Adams, and I know Devontae Adams is a lot different type of player than Chris Olave, way more experienced. So I think there's still an opportunity there for Chris Olave to really do well in his second year. But do you take him ahead of like a T. Higgins? Probably not. That's the discussion. Or Devonta Smith. Maybe with Devonta Smith, though. I don't know. It's tough. I love Devonta Smith. I love all these players in this range. pretty much taking all of these guys, especially Ken Walker, ahead of the quarterbacks. So you see Josh Allen. Everyone loves Josh Allen, except they don't, because every single week his ADP is dropping. It's all relative, and we're trying to use this information to get a slight edge for where we draft and be a little bit more agnostic to who the players are, and then actually focusing on which positions are moving to what spots relative in the rounds in the draft. So, right now running backs are kind of stuck at the turn. I think they're potentially gonna fall a little bit. Like I said, Garrett Wilson moves up. So, and then on the right side, best ball ADP trends. We got more going on. Overall rank 1 to 24, and then positional rank. There's 14 wide receivers going in the first 24 picks. That tells me a lot. There's only one tight end, Travis Kelce, and there's only 3 quarterbacks. It's been consistent this way in the first 2 rounds. You can just kind of step back, look at the color changes and what's going on with the bars. It looks pretty consistent. But the next group, generally the same, a little bit more change. We see a flip-flop. Deebo Samuel and DeAndre Hopkins flip-flop positions. Did they? No, actually didn't. Deebo's been ahead the whole time. I think they could. I think if Hopkins lands with the Bills, like people are saying, and maybe that's why he's rising this last week. Look at that. There's been news. Trade news will make you rise a spot or two. I honestly would take Amari Cooper ahead of DeAndre Hopkins at this point. Well, if he lands in the Bills, we'll have to think again about this. We'll have to really reconsider. And then I heard there's talk, Odell Beckham Jr. in the news. He's nowhere near, the top 48 picks, so he's not showing up. We'll have to get to that in a late round. Take a chance on Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ. Is it worth it? I don't know. Overall trends, there's some, obvious winners that we called out earlier. When I was reviewing in my last video the rookie ADP trends, there's a lot more interesting data in the win-loss key, and what's changing with the positional rankings. The rookies have a lot more variability in where they're going. And I think because we're in this period from the combine, then the weeks of free agency, now we're just a month out from the NFL draft. We're not going to see the ADPs change all too much. It's just going to be these little tiny things like news breaking out. So I say get your guys wherever you like them in the first, 4 rounds, and just keep hammering those wide receivers. That's all we got today. I'll give you an update on some news. I thought it would be fun to kind of go through some of the things I saw today on Twitter. So I'm just going to read some of that off. Jamie Eisner was talking about the opening NFL win totals for the 2023 season from BetOnline. Chiefs and Bengals, 11.5 wins. 49ers, 11 wins. Okay, yeah, this is good. Bills, 10.5. Eagles, 10.5. Jags, 10. I don't believe in that. That's a pretty good line, actually. But we'll have to look at the schedule, and I don't know. That's a little rich for me, Jaguars. I still think, I don't know. Cowboys, 9.5. Lions, 9.5. I like that. Chargers, 9.5. Meh. Dolphins, 9.5. Like that. Saints, 9.5. Don't like that. Jets, 9.5. Don't like that. Browns, 9. I don't know. I don't know if the Browns are going to win a lot of games, but I am higher on the Browns players. Elijah Moore getting traded to the Browns. Great opportunity in best ball to get some more Donovan Peoples-Jones real late. I think he can still put up, with even 80 to 100 targets, he can put up some really good best ball weeks. And I think he can get that. And if Deshaun Watson kind of goes back to his old self for fantasy, then it'll pay off. The Dynasty Grill, always retweeting and tweeting with this guy lately. He's got my rookie wide receiver rankings. He's throwing out his rankings there. I really like this guy's rankings. I agree with a lot of those positions. In general, I try to agree with most people's rankings when they throw them out, because when you throw out your rankings, it's a pretty vulnerable thing to do. I still got mine. I haven't officially thrown them out there. I make a lot of comments to kind of signal where I'm at. But in general, nothing to hate on here. Something I learned in the last week was Rashee Rice, him and Tank Dell leading college and total yards and also yards per game and receiving last season. Kind of gets overlooked because when you're playing for an SMU or shout out University of Houston, not a lot of people are watching those games compared to the bigger schools. I'm just talking like Alabama, Texas in general. So those players still, I think, can rise. Tank Dell, the size thing, let's not worry about that. There's some freak athletes out there. And actually, one guy, I got to keep watching videos in his series, and you might know this guy is just a Steve Smith Sr., I guess, is what he put on his jersey. Steve Smith, talented, super elite wide receiver for the Panthers. I'm so tired. I was just stumbling over my words there. He's like killing it on social media, and he's always posting stuff, and he's posting a lot of videos interviewing the rookies. I saw him talking, I think it was to Will Levis. No, actually that was someone else. He was talking to Bryce Young. I can't remember. My brain's fried right now. I didn't get enough sleep last night. But Steve Smith's been talking up all of these rookie wide receivers. There was this really cool Josh Downs analysis breakdown he did, and coming from his perspective, it got me really hyped on Josh Downs, a player that I liked pre-combine, and then I guess everyone else's reaction kind of influenced me. I put him down my board a little bit. I'm back in. I think kind of as a last takeaway in our Dynasty rookie drafts, don't be afraid to go Josh Downs at the end of the first round. That's where historically guys, and even later than that, like the beginning of the second round, if you're lucky and you can get Josh Downs there, I think it's a great pick. That's where guys like Jalen Waddle have gone into the first round. There's been a lot of really decent T. Higgins going late. There's been a lot of really decent wide receivers that have kind of emerged from that area. And I think in our Dynasty rookie drafts, a lot of times you might be tempted to go for the running back, or you're crazy and you go for a tight end. Even in tight end premium, you draft a rookie tight end in the first round. You're just a madwoman. But I really like going with a guy like Josh Downs at the end of there, and I think Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Jordan Addison, that's like a tier for me. I'm starting to think of those three guys together, and I think all three of them have the ability to land somewhere attractive with draft capital. We'll see how they perform. Hope they perform well as the rookie season, and then they're going to be the guys that we're drafting in our best ball leagues next season in the third and fourth rounds, or maybe even the second round. So if someone jumps up like a Jordan Addison and just has a great season. So the trends, we'll keep updating you with rookie trends coming later this week and talking best ball. And if these slow drafts ever go, I had a pick. I was up next in a pick for 8 hours today. The guy timed out. I guess it took from his queue. I don't know what's going on. But, it's best ball season. It's rookie dynasty drafts and research season. This is the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris the Candy Man. Follow me at FFB